Hey, everybody. Glad to see you all. Thanks for being here. Uh, my name is David. I'm a former active addict and alcoholic, now in recovery. As of today, I am 839 days sober. Today is 109 days in a row, attending at least one meeting every day. Today is also day 264 days in a row of at least 2 hours of exercise, either in the gym or out doing road work or in the park walking somewhere, forest bathing. Um, one day at a time, I am reshaping my life and my body in healthier habits. Some days are harder than others. I am in recovery, not recovered. There is not a graduation. I will always be healing from my traumas, both emotional and physical. I have had several broken bones as an adult. I have arthritis affecting several joints. I have a titanium left hip and right knee. I am careful and listen to my body. Some days I push as hard, but I still show up. The same applies to my substances recovery. Every day I'm working on it. Baby steps still count if we're headed in the right direction. I will turn 73 on April 10th and will have been on that day sober 851 days. On my soberversary date, April 11th, I will have achieved 2 years and 4 months clean and sober. We have all been through trauma in our lives, and many times our responses have been to turn to substances to numb the pain and to feel that our damaged selves can find some semblance of friendship and belonging to a group. I am an adult survivor of childhood abuse, physical, emotional, and sexual. My parents were not involved in the sexual abuse, but did not protect me from family members that were. The various abusive activities tapered off as I got older, but did not completely stop until I was big enough and strong enough that my no was finally recognized. I became involved with alcohol, pot, and psychedelics in my late teens in the early 1970s. I felt I was functional in that I was able to maintain employment. However, I had strained and somewhat distant relationships with family members. I had no real friendships, just people with whom I shared patterns of substance use. In the mid 70s, mostly because I was short of money at the time, I managed to pass a test and got hired by a major telecom company. I had quit psychedelics by then because, as now, there were many untrustworthy people misrepresenting what they were selling, and you never knew what you would get. I feel this is somewhat more to what's happening on the streets now. There are people out there who will sell you poison that will kill you the first time you try it. With my new income, I was able to buy a house and set up my own housekeeping by myself, and of course, afford much better and much more alcohol and drugs. I have an extreme issue with needles, which likely saved me from many problems. However, powder cocaine of good quality was available, and I consumed it by both snorting and smoking. I continued to believe that I was functional, but I dug myself deeper into a financial hole and it kept getting deeper. After my son was born in the mid 80s, I had managed to quit everything except pot and alcohol and was able to keep that use down to a much lower level. However, that resulted in the underlying trauma becoming much more of an issue. My emotional life went to hell. I went through 2 divorces by the end of the 90s. I was having increasing lung irritation and managed to quit my 2+ pack a day tobacco addiction in the late 90s. And I managed to reduce my pot smoking for the same reason. But I resorted to much greater alcohol use. I pretty much gave up on romantic relationships and most friendships, air quotes around friendships, and tried to be a good father and handle my job. I went through an extended period of therapy to help me deal with my underlying traumas, and it helped me. It took a while to find a therapist that I really clicked with and that I was able to be completely honest with. And that connection mattered. I recommend therapy to anyone who is struggling. In late 2011, I was diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer, which runs in my family. It killed my great grandfather and my grandfather. My father had it as well, but it was caught early and he was killed. After my major surgery in December of that year, they discovered that the cancer had already started spreading. After time to heal a bit from the surgery, I went through daily beam radiation treatments in January and February of 2012. I was on a regular testing schedule to monitor for any reoccurrence. The doctors told me to just try to live my life. I was traveling and marking things off my bucket list, but it always felt like I was just marking time until I would get that terminal diagnosis I was expecting. I was, of course, drinking much more than I should have. In late October of 2022, my doctors announced that with 10 years of no evidence of disease, I was formally considered in remission. I am not considered cured, however, and will be tested for the rest of my life. However, in early November of 2022, blood tests from my regular physician came back with very concerning results. My liver enzymes were particularly concerning, and there was blood glucose and A1C issues indicating that I was at high risk of developing diabetes. I was at this time drinking at least 2 bottles of wine a day, as well as several bottles of bourbon every week. I had developed a very sedentary lifetime and would regularly pass out on the couch. Was when I took the before picture that was in the flyer for this meeting tonight, while having a deep self-assessment. I tried to moderate my drinking and discovered that I was no longer capable of controlling myself. If I had it, I drank it. If I didn't have enough, I drove to get more. I am fortunate that I managed to not injure myself or others. On December 10th of 2022, I was able to take my last drink. On December 11th, I started my new life. With the encouragement and support of the community I have found, I have been able to succeed in sobriety every day. 3A Recovery is my home group. and I'm involved in hosting of our meetings every week. I have gotten back into healthy habits and eating better and getting that exercise of some sort every day. Currently, at least 2 hours each day. I lift weights 3 to 4 times a week and also get some cardio 3 to 4 times a week. I alternate days between weights and cardio. I am a, I have a little more weight to lose, but I'm down almost 120 pounds since Thanksgiving of 2022. I'm down from a high of almost 330 pounds to currently around 210 pounds. I still keep track, but I more notice how my clothes fit and how my body moves. I am Muscle is denser and weighs more than fat, as I discovered this past summer while swimming. I am no longer the fluffy floater that I was for so many years. Um, Swimming takes active work to stay on the surface and not sink like a rock. My blood pressure is much better. My sleep is more restful, and I have greatly improved blood work from my recent physical. I know I am not healed from my addiction. This is another example of remission in my life. I must be vigilant in protecting my recovery every day. If I had not gotten sober and found recovery, I do not believe I would be alive today. There is a difference between white knuckle sobriety and recovery. That difference is connection in our support group with others that are also working on their own healing and recovery, and whatever else our higher power may reveal the blessings of life to us. Recovery requires that we step back from our own ego, that we realize we do not have or even need to have everything figured out or have all the answers. If we listen in our meetings with an open mind and an open heart, there are others sharing their experience and their lessons learned. In every meeting I have attended, I have learned something helpful to my recovery. Recovery is possible. It is never too late. You are worthy of a better life. My grandson is 10 months old today. My son and his wife announced there is another grandson due in August. I have been gifted by my recovery the chance to know the joy of these children that I almost missed knowing. The work is hard, but the result is amazing. They're friends who will support you and rejoice with you. Keep showing up for yourself. Believe in yourself. It is said that stopping using is the simple part of recovery, and that working on the why we were using, healing those parts of us that needed the numbing, the distraction, is the hard work. Believe that we can all do that work. And the beautiful, empowering part is that we do not have to do that work alone. We do recover together. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for being here.